Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So I'm here today to talk to you about Fingersmith, the 2005 British miniseries that was 3 parts. So a while back, I was on BritBox and I was watching the show called No Offense. And there it starred this one actress whose name I can't even think of right now. What's her name? Elaine Cassidy. And so, I was curious to see what other stuff she was in. So I searched her on my TV, and it said Fingersmith. I'm like, oh, wait, I saw that on BritBox, and I was, browsing and stuff. But I never watched it to see what it was about. And I do like old-timey Victorian type stuff. So I'm like, okay, why not? I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, holy crap. I did not expect this twist. There's 2 twists in here. The first twist, my God, was amazing. That blew me away. I still can't believe what happened. I'm like, that was clever. Now that was clever. The second twist, I've seen that happen so many times before and other stuff where I kind of didn't really care for the second twist, but it was ironic. But ooh, that first twist, my God, that was just insane. When I saw that, I'm like, no, and everything. Okay, so, this movie was written actually by a man. Now, I say that because, one, this is a romantic movie with a lesbian theme in it and stuff. And so it was written by Peter Ransley, and it was directed by, and I can't say her name, Aisling Walsh. And so this, some people call it a movie, but it's a miniseries. It lasted for 3 episodes. And so this is actually based off of a book, of all things. This was based on the book of the same name in 2002 by Sarah Walters. Now, she is an open lesbian, and she tends to write a lot of lesbian-themed things in her novels, which explains this. And it's actually David Bowie's top 100 books of all things and stuff. And this movie touches on a lot of stuff. But there's actually another adaptation of this. It's a Korean movie that came out in 2015 called The Handmaiden. Now, I've never watched that, but it's very, very loosely based on this book, and it's set in 1930s in Korea instead of the Victorian era, which I don't know what the Victorian era looked like in Korea and stuff. Actually, I don't know what nothing in Korea looks like. I'm not even joking. The only thing about Korea I know is that the North hates us and South are our allies, and K-pop music. That's all I know. And so the Fingersmith, the 2005 series, which there's hidden meaning to that, the word fingersmith. It technically means a pickpocketer, but it also has some other hidden lesbian meaning to it too. Which, by the way, this book was banned in Belarus. I forget what year it was banned, But like, you know how other countries are about like LGBT things and stuff like that. And I forgot what year it got banned over in the other country and stuff. I think it was 2025 of all things. Like, come on, man, that's been over 20 years, and they just now banned this. Anyways, although The Handmaiden is loosely based on this, the actual British television series actually adapts it beat by beat with only some small minor tweaks here and there, which Sarah Walters was very shocked and surprised by that because most novels that get adapted, they tend to change a lot of stuff. So she was very happy they actually kept her original, like, idea and stuff like that for like the television series. Now, the television series, or the fingersmith, I should say, deals with love. And, it's one of those twisted kind of love stories to where you have one person who's attempting to use another person who they feel is like naive and everything just to get money from them. And this is set in the Victorian era of England, which was not a very rich time to be in. And there was a lot of poor people, especially in the streets of London. And so there's like, this con artist who is looking to like seduce this one young woman and get her wealth and everything, right? And so while he's doing that, unbeknownst to him, or like she falls in love with the person he is allied with to like get her money. And it becomes one of those beautiful like love stories that suddenly turns tragic when you get to the first twist. And when I say this twist will like, make you like fall over in a chair or fall out your bed, you will not see this twist coming. There's no hint to it. And that's what I love. Now, normally when I watch something and there's like a twist or like a villain reveal, it comes completely out of nowhere with no build up. And sometimes I hate that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not written very properly. The characters aren't that developed. But here you really do see the whole like, those two bonding and being close to each other and the kinship they have together. So when you see this twist happen, you're just like flown, like floored. I mean, you're floored and everything. You just can't believe it happened. You know what I'm saying? Now, the second twist you can kind of see happen, because then it's kind of like, okay, there's a reason why they keep flashing back to the beginning of the movie. And it's like, okay, I bet you I know what's going to happen. And bam, it happened. Now, you can watch this on BritBox, right? But you got to pay for that. Somebody uploaded it illegally on YouTube, but you can watch it for free. However, they do have the subtitles on there, and it's a little bit down quality in the grain, but it's free, so why not? You know what I'm saying? And like the acting in here is amazing, in my opinion. Man, I did not know Rupert Evans was like in this, because I kept seeing his name. I'm all like, why does that sound familiar and everything? So I looked him up on, I'm like, no, it's the dude from The Man in the High Castle who played Frank, the dude from like the new Charm series and everything. I had no idea this was him because it didn't look like him, because he was 20 years younger and had shaggy hair. I had no idea and stuff. But, the complete ending of this took me by surprise, because I was not expecting another revelation to happen towards the end. A little bit of a twist, a little bit not. And just the overall forgiveness. I'm like, how do you forgive what happened to you? Like, there's no way I would forgive you and everything. Like, there's no way and everything. But basically, what exactly is this movie about? Well, television show. I still think of it as a movie. Well, you have these two girls, and one is narrating, and one is Sue Trender, and she's played by Sally Hopkins. And so she witnesses somebody being hung, her father, I believe it is. And she's there with her adoptive mother, Mrs. Shucksby. And so, like, she is a fingersmith, and that's basically a pickpocket. Mrs. Shucksby is poor. She takes in, like, kids that are abandoned, her and her husband do, and they teach them to be, like, grifter type people and stuff like that. And so Sue has grown up, be extremely poor, and, like, looks down on herself. On the other hand, you have the complete opposite. Maud Lily, who, like, was born in an insane asylum, and her mother died, and she's taken in by her wealthy uncle, Mr. Lilly and everything. And he's a very strict, very stern man, and like he wants her to, I forget what he exactly wants to do. He wants her to, I think he's going blind, so he needs her to have excellent penmanship so she can write like his stuff, right? And like, so he makes her wear like these gloves and everything, and so she has excellent penmanship. And like, she's this very naive, shy, timid woman. When she grows up and everything, she's never left, like, his property, so she doesn't know what the outside world is like. So she's extremely naive, and he sells like erotic like novels and everything to this one man. And and so like when I guess he dies over there, she's gonna inherit a lot of money. And so there's this con artist, simply known as the gentleman. That's what he's pretending to be. And so, like, he is played by Rupert Evans. And, like, he has an idea when he goes to Mrs. Shucksby. Like, he's found out about Maud and her wealth, and he wants it for himself. So he tells her, hey, look, give me your adoptive daughter. I will teach her how to be like, ladylike, and to be like a maid. And she will befriend Mrs. Maud and everything. And like together, I will marry Maud, put her in an insane asylum, and then I'll share like, well, it's about 2,000 quints, I think, to that of like, Sue. And so like she agrees to it and everything, and so does Sue. And so, but first they have to get rid of like Maud's other like maid and everything. So he seduces her, sleeps with her, she gets caught and kicked out. And so everything's working accordingly to plan. He's away doing other stuff, and Sue has befriended Maud. Now, remember I said Maud is played by Elaine Cassidy. And so Sue is starting to notice that Maud's a very odd character. She can hear screaming and moaning coming around at night. Maud has these fits, these night terrors, and she freaks out when she doesn't have her gloves on, because that's something her uncle instructs her to always have, or he's going to beat her hands and everything. And so Maud doesn't like the lightning or sleeping alone, and she has like Sue sleep with her in the bed, lay next beside her and hold her and stuff. She's very, very skittish and like timid and stuff like that. And so as the con is going on, Sue finds herself actually befriending that of Maud, and likes hanging out with her and dancing and, playing dress up and stuff like that, even though she's not a little girl. It's kind of like the childhood Sue has always wanted, you know. Like, never getting to have fun, never getting to live in a wealthy place, putting on wealthy clothes. She's had to live a very hard lifestyle and had to fight to survive because she's very tough, especially in the streets of London at this time. And so she starts to second guess herself. Like, she doesn't want to, like, trick Maud and everything, and kind of wants to tell her what the gentleman has in store for her. But she doesn't tell her out of fear of losing the money and stuff. But then she starts to find herself attracted to that of Sue. And Sue starts to, like, find herself attracted to that of Maud, to the point where they touch each other in, like, bed and, like, have sexual encounters and stuff. And the way they do it here is very soft, very gentle, like, caressing each other. Not like the head. The handmaiden. Now, I've never seen the head. I'm getting tongue tied. I've never seen the handmaiden, but I did look up that one scene for research and everything. Very erotic. Anyway, so, like, Sue is just really, really doesn't know really what to do. But like I said before, she goes along with it anyway. So the gentleman catches those two doing it. So he starts to realize his plan's gonna be messed up if, like, Sue screws this over. So he has to hurry and get Maud out that place now, whether her uncle croaks or not. So he plans on marrying her. He found a pastor that will pay them off and everything to marry them. So in the middle of the night, all three of them sneaks off and everything in, like, a boat. And they start to live in kind of like this rented cottage of a place and everything. And Sue still hasn't told Maud what's going on. And so Maud, you can see that she's not really attracted to the gentleman anymore, especially when he tries to kiss her, because she is now attracted to another. And so, like, he's going over with Sue what to tell the doctors at the insane asylum so they can have Maud locked up. So the, like, doctors, they question Sue, and she's all like, yes, and everything. Maud is very crazy and does this and blah, 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 and all this other crap, right? So back in those days, even in America, all you gotta do is just say, hey, my wife is crazy, and they will lock her up into an insane asylum. And so, like, this is one of the reasons why in America, when a person's mentally ill and somebody calls the cops on them to take them to rehab or a facility, they can't force them to go in everything because of what they used to do to them back in the day. So, like, all three of them are, like, in a carriage and they're heading to the insane asylum. And so, like, the doctors are like, okay, Maud, like, time to get out and go to your new home and everything. And Maud is just kind of just sitting there. Like, she doesn't even hear them with a stern face. I think she's starting to suspect what's going on. At least that's what I assume. So they keep saying, come on, it's time to go. And then they grab Sue. Boy, when I tell you. It is a twist I did not see coming. I mean, it is a twist I did not see coming. So, the gentleman and Maud, they hatched a plan. They hatched a plan before Sue ever got to, like, her mansion and stuff. So the gentleman found something out really interesting about Maud and told Maud, hey, look, man, I can help you get away from your uncle and everything. We can trick my friend Sue. If you give me some of your fortune, you give me some money, I give you your freedom and everything. So Ma's all like, cool and everything. Let's trick Sue and everything. So since the very beginning, when Sue first arrived, Maud's been playing her, making the hollering noises and acting a fit and having night terrors and everything. All of that was a ruse and everything. And so they plan to lie to the doctors and be all like, Sue is really Maud. Boy, they haul Sue away, dragging and kicking and screaming. And everything. Like, I didn't see that coming. But like I said before, there is another twist upon a twist upon. Like, it gets a little out of hand. So the gentleman is still a scallywag and everything. Like, he still is tricking Maud. And he's all like, I'm going to take you to your new home and this and that. But first we have to stay here in London. And it's like a ratty place. And she's frightened and everything. He takes her to Mrs. Shucksby. And he plans on keeping her there. Mrs. Shucksby keeps touching and feeling Maud and hugging her and talking about welcome home and all this, and Maud's all like, don't touch me and all this crap, and Maud's all like, why do you keep treating me this way? And so, like, I forget if this happens before or after Maud runs away, but like, I think this happens after. So anyway, Maud runs away, right? She's able to trick one of the women there, but she has nowhere to go. She don't know where to go, and the streets of London are very scary, and people are scaring her. She finds the man that her uncle is in business with, and he's all like, "Look, I'll let you stay here for a little while, but you can't live here and everything, and all this other crap." So she has nowhere to go, so she has to go back to Mrs. Sucksby and everything. And I believe this is when Mrs. Sucksby tells her the second twist, or the third twist at this point. The third twist. Maud is not really Maud, and Sue is not really Sue. She tells Sue what happened at her birth, and she tells Maud what happens at her birth, talking about you were never born in an insane asylum and this and that. You were giving up. And that Mrs. Sucksby is really Maud's, like, mother and stuff. And Maud is just like, she passes out. She can't believe that. Maud was supposed to be Sue and everything. She was supposed to grow up poor and everything. But there was a swap. And because, like, her father gave Maud to, like, I'm just gonna call her Maud for now. I'm not gonna call her the real Sue, but she gave Maud to, like, Uncle Lily and everything, and yeah. So Sue is actually Mr. Lily's niece and everything. So she can't believe this at all, right? Now, she does start to feel bad about what she did to Sue. She wanted to tell her, but she decided, you know what? Sue is going to screw me over, so I shouldn't feel too bad about that. But she does feel a little bad because she did fall in love with the woman. Now, as for Sue, Sue is having a hard time in the insane asylum. She's being yelled at, she's being beaten, she's been thrown in cold water, she's being harassed by, like, the nurses over there. One of the nurses gets on behind her, pretending to bump and grind on her and everything. And Sue is living out her worst nightmare. So Sue realizes, okay, I'm going to have to play along and pretend that my real name is Maud and everything. And cause she don't know nothing about her real lifestyle, how she was really born and stuff. But then all of a sudden, Charlie shows up. Now, Charlie is this dumb-witted boy who shines shoes, and the gentleman took a liking to him shining his shoes, and he's all like, I've been kicked out of, like, Uncle Lily's place, and I have no place to go, no money, and maybe you can help me find the gentleman. Somehow he found out she was in that insane asylum. So, being street smart, Sue devises a way to get out. And the way she gets out is like hilarious. She has Charlie bring her, I guess, like some candle wax. Either he does it or she does it. They get a mold of like the key from the insane asylum. So she takes a regular key, puts it to the mold, see it's off by like some edges and stuff, and starts filing it down. And she makes a key and she breaks on out of there. Now she pretended to be Charles's lover when at the insane asylum, so he doesn't know what's going on because he's dopey in the head. But she treats him like crap, kicking him, shoving him, talking bad to him. But she tells him plain and simple, oh, she's gonna kill Maud and everything after what she's been through and everything. So they sneak to a guy's home and they steal food and clothes and this and that. And Charles is a nice person. He doesn't want to steal or nothing like that or harm anybody. So somehow, like, she decides, okay, I have to go back to Mrs. Sucksby because there's no other place I can go. To her surprise, Maud is there. Maud is there, the gentleman is there, and the gentleman is getting to the point where he's sick and tired of everybody because everybody's going to ruin his plans and he wants his money. So he starts attacking people, and Sue starts attacking and everything. And I forget who it was. I think it was Mrs. Sucksby. She stabs the gentleman with a knife. This freaks Charles out and he gets like the police. And so next thing you know, Mrs. Sucksby is on trial for murder. She's to be executed and everything. Maud goes to her and be like, look, I'm a lady. Just lie and say I'm the one who stabbed like the gentleman. They will never prosecute me because I'm wealthy and everything. But for you, they will straight up hang you. And she's all like, no, this is our penance and everything for what all has happened. And you know, they give each other like one last hug, and then Mrs. Sucksby is hung and everything. About a month later, like, we find out that like Sue, now wearing nice clothes and whatnot, has like, you know, gone to see Maud. And Maud is a little frightened because she thinks Sue's gonna kill her and everything. Now, Sue still to this day does not know about her lineage. Her and Miss Sucksby decided to keep it from them, and there's like a note. But like Sue eventually discovers the note, reads it, and finds, no, she has like, I think she has Maud read her the note. And Maud straight up tells her, all right, this is what happened. We got switched at birth, and you were supposed to be rich and wealthy and all this other crap, and I was supposed to be dirt poor and a fingersmith. Sue can't believe it. Like, all her life, she could have had it made, you know what I'm saying? But then there's a small little other twist. We find out what Maud has been up to. She's writing erotic novels and everything, similar to what her uncle did. And this is how she makes her money. She writes sex novels and everything and tells, like, you know, Sue, I am not that innocent and everything, like, blah, blah, blah. I write sex novels too and blah, 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 stuff like that. Now, what happened at the end completely shocked me. They both forgive each other. And I'm like, how the world can they forgive each other? Both of them were gonna screw the other person over to go to the insane asylum. And one actually ended up there. But I guess love conquers all, because they really truly did fall in love with each other to where the point where they're willing to forgive each other. I could never do that. I mean, you put me in a insane asylum, that's it. But these two really truly did love each other, especially in a time where two women were not supposed to, because it was very dangerous for LGBT people to be in England around this time and stuff. So I do recommend watching this wherever you can find it and everything. It's a very nicely written, like, you know, novel and like television series and stuff. Like, it's about undesirable love, you know, forbidden love and everything. And like the twist of all twists that will blow you away. Now, wasn't that romantic? Or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And bye.